Hello and welcome back to the studio. We're here again at St. Sed's on a Thursday to discuss topics going on around live streams as well as broader things that we want to try and bring to the community. So today we are going to be talking about autism. We have got an interview with Joanna and Jason that you conducted at St. Peter's previously. First of all, do you want to, maybe say a couple of things regarding, what it's like?
I'm happy to be here with Joe, who prepared for you some facts about autism.
Yep.
I'm Reverend Bernard, the curator in live stream areas, then here at St. Sid. Joe is our project manager for the studio, and he will be with you so many times from now on with all kind of topics. But today he worked hard to put us together with some facts about autism before we start to say something about the phenomenon, what means autism, and how the people react regarding those with autism, and how, as we understood, those with autism feel when they are approached in a different way by others.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I didn't actually know too much about autism before looking at doing this research and finding things out. I think it's
it's hard to say. We don't have expertise in that.
Exactly, yeah. So
I appreciate the facts you presented.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of factors regarding what autism is and what people feel like when they have autism, how kind of different things they feel compared to a neurological person.
Exactly.
So one thing is that first of all they find it harder to communicate and interact with other people. There's things they find it hard to understand how other people think and feel. So it's definitely not going to be easy for them to interact with everybody else around them, because they don't understand exactly how other people might feel each time. Things like bright lights, noises, things like that, that can make them feel a bit more anxious, a bit more nervous, and it can be quite overwhelming. It's the other things like social events as well. They can be a bit more prone to anxiety from that, and things like that. And then finally, they can take longer to understand information. So I know, Jason, within the interview that you are going to be watching, Jason does reference that about
the reality is that part of these facts depend on how we relate to them, as I discussed with a few people with autism. And sometimes we rely or depend on mentalities. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of urban myths, I name them, about how they are different than us. That is, we are different to each other, that's the reality. And sometimes we create a pattern of reacting and relating to them. Mm-hmm. And there is in our society, especially in the urban areas, a way of pattern, of relating to them. And sometimes we say they are different, they are special in the other way, and they got a high IQ, that is true. Most of them have a very high IQ. But it does not mean that they are so different as we consider. Yeah. Especially, the children behave in this kind of relation not very well always. Sometimes they are bullying each other.
Yeah, well, I mean, I saw a statistic saying 1 out of 100 children have autism. And I think that's something that I didn't really realise how many people it affects. Over 700,000 people are on the autism spectrum in the UK, which that's
That is
massive amounts. I think it's
And I saw
2.8 million
something,
families.
I was totally sorry. I'm scared seeing that how less we know about the number of people around us who are struggling with that, and they are so normal like us. Then it's not something like they are not able to cope with the daily life.
I mean, I know
you are right at here that it's 1 in every 100 people with autism.
Yeah, I mean, and that's only cases that are found. There's obviously children maybe in school that might have autism that we don't actually know about because they don't know themselves, and it's not kind of looked into. So there's more cases in the UK than I thought there might have been, but it just means that we need to understand more and be able to cater to them more. So they can comfortably go through school in adulthood as well. Get jobs, just function in normal society. Which again, I feel like things are becoming more understood. And again, there'll be more interesting facts again from Jason and Joanna, who we'll get onto in a minute.
Yeah, I consider that the biggest issue in their inclusion between the groups, between the people, it is about our way of thinking about them and how we relate to them. That if we know more about them and we listen more to them and help them to open and to talk to us, we will see that it's not such a big difference as we consider. And I'm sure that are many families around us who are struggling with that and who carry with them a kind of stigma.
Yeah. I mean, 700,000 people in the UK, that's 2.8 million families that are affected with it. So if one person in their family has it, that's 2.8 million families in the whole of the UK with somebody who might have autism in their family.
We won't go too deep in that because we don't know too much, to be honest. As I said, we stayed too long back and we didn't talk too much about that with the people and we didn't listen too much to them. But today we will start presenting to you an interview with Joanna and Jason.
Yes.
I don't want to tell so many, to present on many details. Today we'll have just the first part of the interview, and the next week you will have the second one. You will meet then Jason and Joanna, who will speak to you about what means for them autism, because they live with and they cope with all of that. If you have then in your families and neighborhood and friends and relatives with this kind of of reality of life, you can contact us and contact Joanna and Jason, who can share with you and help their experience, and they have a great experience.
So let's get on to that interview now and see what Joanna and Jason can tell us about living with autism.
Today with us is Joanna and Jason.
Hello,
they are
Donald.
Joanna, thank you very much that you, both of you, accepted to speak about autism. It is an issue, but in the same time, so many families are coping with that, and the life is just normal. I know that many people watching us want to ask a lot of questions about autism. Can you introduce a little bit yourself, Joanna, and after Jason, please?
I'm Joanna, and I've got 3 children, 2 of whom are autistic, and that's Amber and Logan, and this is my husband Jason, and Jason is also autistic.
I don't know too much about autism. I would let you to tell us more, because now we are more and more people who are asking about autism, and they would like to know how to cope when you have a child, younger, older, and someone who is like Jason, in adulthood, to live with autism, a normal life, and to enjoy the life. Dejana, what do you say first about?
There is this misconception with autism that everyone who's autistic is like Rain Man and they're super intelligent or have some special gifting or. And
Yeah, that's true. This is the way I heard a lot of stuff about people with autism. They are
like savants.
exactly.
Yeah.
They have some capacity or ability which you don't have in. Yeah, I suppose that is about urban needs.
Yeah, and there are people who are autistic who are very clever. Jason's got a very high IQ. He's very clever.
I can say yes that because
But,
we have a few discussions and in this area I can say yeah. Thanks.
But with our children, they're average children. They've one of our son Logan, he goes to a mainstream school, and our daughter goes to a mainstream primary school, and they get extra help at school through like EHC plans, but you know, they don't look autistic. Some people think with
Yeah, that's true. I met them
autism
and,
you're going to look autistic. They look like the average
Until you told me I didn't
child,
know
yeah.
that they are autistic. Yeah.
And there is also another sort of misconception that you grow out of autism as you get older and that it's a childhood condition. Obviously with Jason's got, he's proof that having autism, it goes into adulthood as well. And we have good days, we have bad days. Every day is sort of different really, isn't it?
You know, one question I heard from the people thinking about the others with autism, how independent they are and how they in the future cope with every single day's needs. And
Well, you'd be best to answer that
exactly, we would like if Jason you will tell us how you cope with every single day's duties and life, as we all.
Okay, so I didn't actually know that I had high functioning autism until recently, and I'm like 50 years old now. So throughout my childhood, I was often misunderstood and treated like I was difficult and a bit awkward. I'd have a lot of questions. If someone told me something, I would question it, not out of rudeness, but out of interest. I sought to expand my knowledge in these areas, and people would find it very difficult with me at times. They would just give me an answer and I'd ask an answer, ask another question, and then we've already told you. As a child, I didn't deal with it very well because I didn't know I had autism anyway. I just was classed as a naughty child and with behavioural problems, and so I had trouble at school. As an adult, I began to what they call mask. I didn't realise what it was, but masking is where you sort of unconsciously hide, subconsciously hide
It's like a
the
defense
autism. Yeah.
against the attitude of others who don't understand and don't.
Yeah, you try and fit in with everybody, and so you put on this play act. You become an actor, and you're not really true to yourself. You'll be around people, and they expect you to behave a certain way, and so you do. But in your mind, you're thinking, this isn't me. I don't want to be squeezed into this mould. But if I act differently from the way everybody else seems to be, then I'm going to be rejected.
Then the biggest struggle is that do not make confusion between what we show to the others and what you are.
Yeah.
And the other pressure create you to fit, to squeeze yourself in different personality and behavior.
Yeah, because you've got what's called neurotypical people that they don't have the neurological situation or problem of autism. Then you've got the autistics, and so neurotypicals, they fit in basically with the rest of the world, but autistics don't, and so there's often that clash of the autistics trying to become neurotypical, and the neurotypical people expect an autistic to fit into their world.
Maybe I didn't understand well, but you say that this behavior, this attitude of people like you
Yeah.
is set up because of our attitude in relation with you,
Yeah.
society's attitude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to fit in with what the rest of the world is doing, really.
Yeah.
When I was at school and I would have a maths, I was doing a maths class, the teacher would say, work out this mathematical problem for me. The answer would just come straight into my head and I'd write it down. And then the teacher would say, how did you come to that answer? I said, it just come into my mind.
Yeah.
And the teacher would say, no, I need you to write down how you worked it out. I said, I can't.
Yeah, because they wanted the path, not the solution. I understand.
And
And
so
you have that ability to just simply find it out.
yeah, just popped into my mind. I knew the answer, I wrote it down, and they would say, can you write down how you worked that out and everything else? I said, no, I can't. And they said, then you cheated. You must have copied someone.
Okay.
And so I'm like, well, I didn't. But they said, but you can't explain how you got the answer. And
I suppose that attitude comes from something deeper rooted in our behavior and the way how we consider others. Because if we see someone who is different than us, we start to react differently.
Yeah.
Do you consider that now the society is more prepared to accept others who are different, with other skills, with other way of life, and other gifts, as you had, that just simple to come to the end, do not lose time on the way?
Yeah.
Do you consider others more prepared?
Well, people are judgmental and they're fearful of things that they don't know, for a start. A lot of bullying of people that are different is based on just people don't like it because you're different. I mean, some people say people bully you because they're jealous, but nobody is jealous. Nobody at school was jealous of me. They didn't want what I had. I didn't have anything. So, but because I was different, it was like you don't fit in with the rest of us.
Yeah.
So that makes us feel uncomfortable. Why are you acting differently from the rest of us? So
there is not too much change.
There's more. No, there isn't really. There's more knowledge of autism
more knowledge, but not
being
change.
passed about. But yeah,
You still come across people who sort of don't understand. Like with Jason, he can be come across as maybe abrupt to someone when actually that's just part of the autism. That's just him trying to understand more, ask questions, and sometimes people can mistake that for rudeness, which is quite common with people who've got autism. He can be quite direct at times, and you know that could be mistaken and things like that.
We just find it out how you change and how you have to change in order to cope with this attitude. Like you as mom, carer, and wife, how you feel this attitude and this relation, where you are in this stuff?
I feel that over the year, I feel that when Jason was younger, there was no awareness of really autism at all. There was nothing to help. There wasn't help in place. I mean, we're talking about in the 70s. It wasn't, you know, that well understood. But with our children now, they are getting support at school. They are getting help from their teachers. They are being understood. Maybe around their peer groups, you know, their friends. Maybe they could get more awareness in school, sort of how to interact with and play with people with children with autism, because a lot of them do have a lot of social and communication difficulties. Both our children struggle with playing with others and changing routine and adapting to, like, moving up to a different year group and things like that. That's really hard, changing classrooms or...
As is for all of us.
You know, exactly.
But harder
and
if somebody's bullying you.
And this is the thing, you know, for a neurotypical child who hasn't got autism, their struggles that they experience as well. With autism, they're just heightened even more. So it is hard to sort of to go through that.
Well, thank you to Joanna and Jason for doing that interview with us. Obviously, we have got the second half of that will be in next week's show, but just from that, you know, we've got a really good insight into, you know, what it is like living with autism. So we really do thank them for joining us and, you know, sharing that information, because I'm sure it's not always easy discussing it all.
But they are open to do that and to come in help of you for the people who need. And in the second part of this interview, you will find more information and some bits of how to contact them.
But yeah, I wanted to quickly say that if you do want to, you know, leave any comments about your kind of situation, what you've gone through, maybe within autism, then feel free to leave it in the chat, or, you know, contact us here, and you know, we'd be happy to listen, happy to discuss it all, and you know, hear your own story as well. And I'm sure, Joanna and Jason might be happy to discuss things with you as well, so you can kind of share your situation.
And they told me that they are happy to meet you and to create a group of discussion or just simple mutual help.
That's great. So, but yeah, we'll resume that next week. For now, we're going to move on to our question of the day. Now, I was earlier thinking about different kind of things we might be able to discuss, and I was thinking about, do people realise maybe the consequences of our actions? So the question of the day is, do we realise the consequences of our actions? So, you know, everyday things, anything we think, anything we do, anything we say, all has consequences. And I feel we don't usually think about all of the possible consequences from just a couple things.
No, in my culture there is a byword which say, think twice and act once. I suppose that when we think about our acts and the consequences on ourselves and others, we should do the same, maybe more time to things, because we don't know exactly the outcome, what could be.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just if you say a sentence, if you're rude to somebody, there's so many consequences from it. You know, that person's mental health, maybe. You know, the relationship you have with others. Just every single thing is like a butterfly effect, isn't it? You know,
that's true.
You know, as soon as one thing happens, it leads to all these others. So, I mean, I put down.
In Japan, a butterfly start to fly.
Exactly. Yeah.
You could have a storm in Pacific or wherever.
Yeah.
It's like
it's
that.
Like
you know
that,
that.
But I put down for instance for myself. So, let's say I scheduled to go play football with my friends and I decided not to go, something like that. I have down here, you know, mental health can deteriorate. You know, you're not socialising. Your physical health can deteriorate because you're not going out doing any physical activity. Your relationship could possibly break down. And that's just a couple of things. That's just kind of scraping the surface, really, of all the things that can be affected from one decision. And you know, if you look at it on broader scales, it can change so much. I mean, with things obviously going on at the moment with, you know, Russia and Ukraine.
And you know how easy it is to make someone to be troubled by what we do, and how hard it is to repair. Then if we became more conscious about what you say, Joe, how to avoid to have bad consequences in our acts, on others and on ourselves, maybe we save a lot in our life for others as well. Because when we speak about sometime, or most of the time when we speak about mental illness, we consider mental illness is something that is always visible. No, it's not visible. And to be honest, all of us are exposed to this, issue, because, the border between being in balance and lose control over ourselves, it's such flexible, such fluid.
Yeah. I think it's mainly the main thing to take away from it, or to try and look at taking away from it, is thinking through what you're doing before you do it. I feel everyone's very impulsive in kind of, you know, in this kind of generation. I feel like things are quite impulsive, and it's about thinking through exactly what you're doing and making sure that you're doing the right thing for the greater good overall. You know, you see different people online, especially with an online environment now, an online age. You've got people putting things on social media without really thinking through what the cause of that could be.
Exactly.
And there's so many, you know, people being, you know, cancelled in a way because of what they've put, and they haven't really thought it through. So I think it's about really thinking about what we're doing before we do it, and looking at the possible consequences that
And
could
what
come.
we say, what we comment under someone's timelines, picture and whatever, that person behind that picture, behind those words, there is a real person as we are, as you are, and whoever you want. Then how I would react if someone would do to me what I do to others, you know, what I don't like, I shouldn't do to others as well.
Exactly. So that's mainly the premise of our question of the
Yeah.
day. If anybody else has anything to say, again, leave it in the live chat. And
if you had a bad experience and something else, and you learn something in that, you can tell us, or just simple make a comment helping others to avoid this kind of situation.
yeah, exactly.
And yeah.
So that is our question of the day today. Obviously, again, next week we'll be back with another question of the day, and we'll
Yeah,
see what we're going to discuss then.
Or maybe you can suggest us other question. Why not? Because we are here not just simple coming to you with all kind of ideas, but you can suggest something for the next meeting. Why
Of
not?
course, yeah. So before we leave, we are going to quickly play another clip. Sorry. This is discussing things going on around St. Sed's
Yeah.
in the next coming weeks.
Hi, I'm greeting from here, Sunset. We are back after 2 years of pandemic, and we want to meet you again to share stories, to make friendship. And the first step we take now is just simple to open our church for you as a place of meeting, our front garden, every single Wednesday, starting with 2 o'clock until 4 o'clock, when we can share a cup of tea, coffee, and some biscuits. And if you stay with us, we will find a lot of events we are preparing for you, just simple to build up our friendship and fellowship. Come back here, and I'm waiting for you. Reverend Bernard and Reverend Colin will be here for you, and the congregation with us.
So that there was just Bernard saying things going on around St. Sed's. Obviously, we have Oasis on a Wednesday, so that's the main one. But is there anything else going on around live streams for the rest of the week?
Yeah, here in this area, because we are focused mostly through the studio in this area. We hope that soon we will be every single day here, excepting Saturday. Yeah, when we will have with us a community worker. Then at least 4 hours a day we will be here. Then we'll have the halls open, the church opens, and you will have someone to meet. Stay in touch with us and you will know what happened. But till then, you have Oasis every single Wednesday, starting 2 o'clock to 3:30, when you can come around to meet us and to have a coffee and just a chat. Yeah, at Sunday as well, every single Sunday, 3:30 until by about 5 o'clock we are here as well.
So
now, but
with,
we hope to be
with that community worker, is that position still open to apply for?
You have another day to.
Another day, so one day. So
Then we
hopefully,
can-
if you are seeing this and you do want to
We are
maybe,
preparing for the interview.
so if you are seeing this and you feel like maybe getting involved with St. Sed's and becoming that community worker for St. Sed's would be a career path for you, then please contact the church office. Look online, we've got job adverts out, so you can see that and have a look on our website, and you could possibly have a look at applying for that. But you have to be very quick, because we are coming towards the end of that scouting process in a way,
That's true.
and we're going to be looking at doing the interviews soon. So that's mainly it from us today.
That's for
at
today.
the
Yeah.
studio.
But thank you for being with us here.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you watching along, and again, be sure to stay connected within our social medias. Come back next Thursday. We'll have the second half of that interview with Joanna and Jason, and we'll also have other things that we're going to discuss.
By the way, you should know that our Facebook page for studio is always open for you to send comments, not just in the time we are online, but whenever you have time and you watch that and you got an idea.
Yes, and hopefully soon, when the community worker is here, you'll be able to come in person and maybe discuss with us ideas that you've got for the studio, as well as for St. Sed's as a whole and the community around us.
Yeah, it is exactly what we want, to have you here in this sofa,
Exactly.
to talk and to say what you can share with us. Thank you then very much, and see you soon.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see